Rory McIlroy, who is known for giving straightforward responses, has frequently been on the front lines and in the media throughout the PGA Tour's very visible struggle for dominance versus the upstart LIV Golf. The four-time major champion believes that the two parties must come together in the middle, even if PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan recently claimed that the Tour and LIV cannot cooperate. In this video, we'll tell you everything you need to know as Rory McIlroy urges PGA Tour and the LIV Tour to start talks. Golf is ripping itself apart. The PGA versus LIV saga. According to Rory McIlroy, the PGA Tour and LIV Golf may soon have something to say to one another because the game is ripping itself apart. It was immediately apparent that LIV Golf posed a serious threat to the PGA Tour. Numerous big-time performers have already left the breakaway tour, and as it acquires more acceptance, the tendency may only become worse. According to Eamon Lynch, LIV was negotiating an agreement to buy TV time for its tournament on Fox Sports 1. Lynch pointed out that paying Fox Sports for airtime would be generally viewed as a failure to draw significant commercial interest in what it is delivering. But the end result is the same. LIV Golf will increase its fan base and expand its reach. LIV has been criticized because some believe it is a means by which Saudi Arabia is engaging in sports washing, which involves utilizing sporting teams, leagues, and events to obscure a country's wrongdoings and enhance its brand abroad. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, which also owns Newcastle United of the Premier League and has held WWE events and Formula One races in the nation, is the owner of the tour. Jamal Khashoggi, a reporter for the Washington Post, was killed. Dissidents were imprisoned. Yemen was bombed, and women, girls, and the LGBTQ+ community were all allegedly oppressed by the Saudi government. These are other reasons why the league is being criticized. Finding a solution for the PGA Tour and LIV Golf to coexist may be the only option going forward at some point. For the time being, both sides' representatives are unwavering. According to PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, there is currently no scenario in which the Tour will rescind the penalties imposed on the golfers who signed with the LIV Series. I'll remind you that we are involved in litigation as it relates to any of the possibilities for LIV players, Monahan added. They work well for us. I don't think it makes much sense to discuss any hypotheticals at this time. Every player has a decision. I appreciate that option, but they've chosen it, as I've made clear throughout, he said. We created ours. We're going to keep strengthening ourselves and concentrating on the things we can manage. They appear to be aware of that. Greg Norman, CEO of LIV, used the same approach in an interview with The Australian. To be completely honest with you, we have no interest in having a conversation with them because our product is effective. As a result, the golfers themselves are compelled to establish comparable front lines. This month, McIlroy expressed regret about how the break between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf has harmed his relationships with some of his Ryder Cup colleagues. I wouldn't say that I have a close connection with them right now, he remarked. But I haven't changed anything, you know? They're the ones who have chosen that course of action. I can say that I haven't changed anything as I sit here with my head held high. McIlroy wants the PGA and LIV Tour to find a common ground of existence. McIlroy, who has worked behind the scenes with Tiger Woods to help the PGA Tour develop a more comprehensive and lucrative plan beginning in 2023, said in St. Andrews, Scotland, that the ball's in their court. McIlroy has been highly critical of the Saudi-backed LIV Invitational Series. While he is not against LIV Golf competitors playing in major tournaments and feels they should receive world ranking points, McIlroy claimed that LIV Golf is creating up its own regulations. 2 months after being denied his fifth major by Cam Smith, an Australian who has since joined the LIV, McIlroy has returned to the old course. McIlroy made an eagle on the 18th hole when clutching a 20-footer during a practice round. He then remarked, "Wish I'd done that in July." On the 14th, he also received a good bounce. He responded, "I said the same back then." McIlroy, though, has returned for a different reason. He wants to play with his father, Jerry, in this 4-day Pro-Am, not to exercise the ghosts. He stated, "I would rather win the team event here with my dad than the individual event. Despite the fact that it wouldn't make up for the Open, it would soften the pain. Since I have so many wonderful recollections of the old course, I can honestly say that I will never have a negative opinion of it. I won my tour card in this competition here 15 years ago by placing third, and I'll always have a great respect for St. Andrews and what it represents to our game. That matters more than attempting to win this Open Championship." In a letter to Pete Dawson, the head of the official Golf World Rankings, a group of 50 LIV players requested that the organization quickly consider their request for world ranking points. stating that every week that passes without the inclusion of LIV athletes undermines the historical value of OWGR. Although it can take months or perhaps at least a year to accept an application, the OWGR made no comments on their procedure. If Dustin Johnson is somehow ranked 100th in the world, that's not an accurate reflection of where he is in the game, McIlroy said to reporters at the Dunhill Links Championship, a DP World Tour competition that is being held this week on the Old Course, Carnoustie, and Kingsbarns golf courses in Scotland. However, you also can't make up your own rules. There are requirements. Everyone is aware of what they are, and if necessary, they may change course to satisfy the requirements. I have no issue with them receiving ranking points, but you must fulfill the requirements. If you don't, it will be more difficult to argue that you should have them. The 14 OWGR standards, of which LIV Golf has recognized it does not meet all of them, include 14 different boxes. However, the OWGR's mandate also states that an organization may receive points even if it doesn't fulfill the requirements, or may be refused even if it does. The absence of a 36-hole cut in LIV's 54-hole tournaments, the tiny fields of just 48 players, and the hazy qualification process for LIV events seems to be the league's major drawbacks. The LIV Golf League would include 48 players in 12 four-man teams the next season, practically all of whom were picked. Although there are plans for a promotions event the following year, there is no open weekly qualification schedule. The International Series, a collection of 10 upgraded Asian circuit tournaments that will act as a small feeder tour and are sponsored by LIV Golf, has provided LIV the opportunity to claim membership on a tour with full-field 72-hole events. At the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship on the DP World Tour, McIlroy remarked, "I've always said I think there is a time and a place when everyone that's engaged here should get down and try to work together. Since there are already 2 lawsuits pending, it is very difficult for that to happen. There is a natural time frame for allowing things to calm down a bit. Individuals can enter those talks with a clear head. Golf is being torn apart, but it remains our game. An upheaval-filled year has resulted from the rise of LIV Golf. Due to problems stemming from his anti-PGA Tour remarks in February, Hall of Famer Phil Mickelson took a 4-month vacation before signing with LIV and receiving a significant guarantee to compete over the following few years. Others who have secured multi-year contracts with LIV include Sergio Garcia, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, Patrick Reed, and Dustin Johnson. The next week, a tournament in Bangkok will be the 8th in its 8-tournament 2022 season. In part to provide room for a broadcast partner to televise the tournament with the hope of a long-term agreement, LIV Golf revealed plans to modify its season-ending team event at Durrell October 28th to the 30th. McIlroy stated, "I don't want a splintered game. Golf is tearing itself apart, and that is bad for everyone. Both the men in the conventional system and the men on the other side are negatively impacted by it. With things how it is, right now certainly isn't the best moment, but we probably can't wait much longer. I support discussing issues at the table and finding solutions." There's more to golf than the professional game, as Rory McIlroy, who is now playing alongside his father, made care to point out. The power battle between LIV and the conventional circuits has dominated the game over the last year. Golf is so much greater than any of this, and I believe that's something people miss, according to McIlroy. Golf is a fantastic game that may be played for the rest of one's life, despite the fact that sometimes our ideas of what it should be differ slightly.